Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Chop It Up, only on 137pm. I'm your host, John Henry.
And I'm Brandon Bryant. We are breaking down business and culture through the entrepreneurial lens, whether that is $1 million deals or flipping kicks on StockX. Whatever your hustle is, we're here to help you. Yes, go! What we got to do?
Oh man. Yo! In case you missed it, Jay-Z, The Rock,
The Rock's in the building, baby.
has become hip-hop's first official billionaire. Yes, that means he passed P. Diddy, he passed Dre, 50 Cent, all these other guys who were in the running. Not that it's a competition, but let's take a look at how it was that he was able to get here in the first place.
Oh man, Jay, you've been doing it for a long time, man. He had Rockefeller Records, he had Rockaware, now he has Ace of Spades, that's about 310 mil right there. Was an early investor in Uber, just that stake was worth 70 million itself. Duce, 100 million. He got an art collection worth north of 70 million. I say this guy's doing pretty, he's well diversified. He has a measly $50 million in real estate.
Not too shabby.
He's not a typical real estate guy, huh?
Not too shabby. I mean, look, Jay-Z has managed to be omnipresent. Since I can remember, there's always a Jay-Z anthem of one kind or another on the air. I think the first one that I can recall personally was, "It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard," right? So there was that. Then there was the, yeah, we're gonna stop singing. There was that era. There was the
Def Auto-Tune.
Yeah,
Boy, that was a good one.
I mean, the Black Album.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so what are some big takeaways that we can learn from Jay-Z's rise to being hip-hop's first billionaire? Well, the one thing that comes to mind to me is he built a business around brand.
Yeah.
And built a business is the key word. It's not enough to just say that you're a businessman. He became a businessman, right? He entered in, he knew that spitting bars would only get him so far, and through Rock Nation, he extended his own personal reach through signing the likes of Kanye West, Rihanna, J. Cole, and so forth.
Yeah, he even went into the sports industry with guys like KD and some other players from the Yankees.
Robinson Cano.
All right, Robinson Cano. I remember when he signed that deal. But he knows how to strike when the iron's hot. If you ever remember back in the day, what did all the guys used to have? That Cristal bottle, and then what happened? The guy who owned Cristal said, "Oh, I didn't know black people and rappers are gonna be drinking my drinks." And then Jay-Z did what? He started his own Ace of Spades, worth 310 million now. And then now he has Duce, has an art collection, 70 million plus. He has more money in art than he has in real estate. He got about 50 in real estate. But art is technically a new form in real estate, so Jay-Z, we give it to you. Appreciate you, man. Strike while the iron's hot, diversify as much as you can, and do your thing. Hang around cool people. One last little thing I wanted to read. Jill, if you could put this up. This is about 10 years ago, or almost 10 years ago in a meeting. Warren Buffett said this quote about Jay-Z. Said, "Jay is teaching in a lot bigger classroom than I'll ever teach in." And he said, for a young person growing up, he's the guy to learn from. Warren Buffett, the best investor of all time
In the world, yeah.
says that you are teaching in a bigger classroom than him. Boy, go ahead and do your thing, man. Go ahead and diversify your assets, boy. Let them go ahead and just accrue interest over time, okay?
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
that's the modern blueprint. The modern blueprint.
Wow, the modern blueprint.
You like that take on
444.
You know what I'm saying? So there you have it, guys. Jay-Z, hats off to you, my friend. Keep inspiring, certainly us, and a whole other generation and generations to come.
Damn, we didn't even talk about Jay-Z bringing the Nets to Brooklyn. Yo.
I know.
And making the Yankees hat more popular than any Yankee ever. Yo, go ahead. Just take it off here. Get out of here. Brother, I appreciate you, Mr. 444. Appreciate you. Watch the Throne. Oh, man. We really appreciate you. You're really setting a big opportunity for us in representation of people of color and folks coming from nothing to really level up. So, thank you. All right, guys. Did you see this week in the news that Zynga, your favorite gaming company, got pretty lucky from all this hustling over the past few years? John, what do we have?
Well, it's just funny because they made a windfall of cash and it had nothing to do with their core business. Had everything to do with the real estate that they owned. Okay, and if there's a key takeaway there, It just kind of reminds me, honestly, of Ray Kroc and McDonald's.
Yep.
Where the big pivot in their business was when they realized that they should be in the real estate business, not necessarily just a hamburger business. I.e., the McDonald's franchise at one point didn't own the real estate, they were just purely the hamburger business. And then at some point they decided, why doesn't the corporation buy the real estate, then we franchise it out, and then the franchisor pays us rent in the physical establishment.
It's called interest.
Right, so that was a brilliant play. They popularized it way back when, and it looks like Zynga has made a boatload of cash doing the same thing.
Yeah, within 6 years, they've already made double their money. And since they IPO'd, they kind of turned into a company that only grows through acquisitions. And they've done 33 acquisitions since they've been alive for the last, 10 years or so. So now they're gonna use this 300 plus million that they've made to actually just acquire other gaming companies. And kind of seems a little boring to me.
Yeah, well, that's a perfectly good, viable business model.
Well, the acquisition model is pretty expensive, but technically it's one of the only ways for growth once you IPO, because you have to report every 3 months and you have to continually show consumer confidence.
So there you have it, guys. The key takeaway here is own assets, but rent liabilities. In other words, a car is a depreciating asset. So with that, I would just lease that out, free up your cash, and use that cash to buy something like a building that can make you money. And later on in the future, you might get lucky like Zynga and sell it for 370 million. At the very least, you'll be able to refinance it, and you can raise money from your own company internally as a result of owning assets.
Okay.
So that's the financial formula for the day. All right, guys, deal talk, here we go. Are you tired of us talking about IPOs yet? Well, we are too a little bit, but it's great clickbait, what can we say?
Does anyone remember Entourage from HBO back in the day? Vinny Chase, Ari Go, baby.
Here is $100. Please put it in a brown paper bag along with a nice big pile of shit and send it over there.
Well, guys, Ari Goat was based off a real person, Ari Emmanuel, who is actually the CEO of Endeavor, which is formerly known as WME, William Morrison Endeavors. All right.
So the interesting thing to know here is how Endeavor has grown. So they were historically just talent reps. So they would represent actors and actresses and be their agents essentially, but they've crept into other moves kind of under the radar. They bought UFC, professional bull riding, even Miss Universe, etc. And what I like about this is they've turned the classic model on its head. No longer are actors and actresses just waiting around and dilly-dallying, waiting for an agent to rep them. Instead, these guys own the show, they represent the producers, they rep the talent as well, and they're making money every kind of way. Otherwise known as TV packaging.
So for you guys, the takeaway here is that Endeavor is now a media company, or has been a media company, and they're vertically integrated. So to give you an example on my side, I get an idea, then I go into pre-production, then I go into production, then I go into broadcast and distribute the whole thing, right? They're doing this on a much larger scale. So folks, don't just be your average actor, model, what have you, and be repped by somebody else. Do all of that stuff yourself. Start negotiating deals, start coming up with ideas, put up your own capital to shoot pilots, and then hopefully you get to take home that big bag at the end of the day.
Look, guys, the more value you bring to the table in a negotiation, the more difficult you are going to be to replace, period. Okay, so it's one thing to just be a pretty face. That can be disposable pretty quickly. But if you're helping out with the writing, if you're some of the firepower, the creative, if you're rolling your sleeves up in production, if you're familiar with gear, and you're also on camera talent, that is what I call value.
And I would even add, if you have your own audience, Instagram, YouTube, etc., now you have your own place to broadcast and distribute all these things, and that's called leverage. And examples of that is Issa Rae with Insecure, Donald Glover with Atlanta, and the list goes on. So folks, the takeaway here is for you to vertically integrate yourself, okay? Bet on yourself. And just like our good guy, Jay-Z, you're not a businessman or woman, you're a businessman.
Get it? Get it?
All right, guys, it's time for another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Another retail bankruptcy, all right? There's a retail apocalypse coming, and watch out because it might be your favorite brand. And this brand is actually pretty popular, successful internationally, but apparently in the US, they made the wrong moves.
Which is a terrible bummer. Topshop has closed their doors, all their US stores, which apparently was only 8. But nonetheless, I don't know if you live in the city or what have you. I don't know, but for me, they kind of represented like they had just enough swag, just enough. Like anytime you see me with a crazy splash of color, it came from Topshop. So I'm personally bummed to see them go. What can we learn from this?
I mean, well, apparently Topshop moved into a new market. They thought they were hot shit. They didn't market anything through social media or through any other channels. They didn't have any brand awareness through like influencers or also famous people. And it fell to shit, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? They went bankrupt within 10 years and barely, they were supposed to scale up. They have 300 plus stores, international. They couldn't even get past 8 to 10 in 10 years.
I think this is just a classic case of a lack of brand awareness, honestly. And you know, they were able to prop the business up because they make money elsewhere. But guys, the end of the story is you gotta be known.
Right.
Like, you know, you got to invest into making sure that you are on the tip of anyone's tongue who's talking about what you do. So again, a classic case here of a lack of brand awareness. And that was really at the root of their problem because they made clothes pretty damn well, but they just didn't brand well. And they got their lunch money taken by competitors who did brand really well.
Hey Simpson, let me save you the trouble of putting that money back in your pocket.
I.e. H&M.
The Alexander Wang collection was kind of hot, huh?
You know?
All right.
It was. So, look guys, don't have your lunch money taken by someone who makes shittier shit than you, but just brands it better. Just don't.
Guys,
bad luck.
we have to win the game. Everyone is a media company. This episode is all about vertical integration. It's all about media. It's all about brand. Jay-Z would have never got that rich without brand.
You could argue that Rocawear wasn't all that fresh.
It was pretty okay.
It was all right.
Pretty okay.
And yet somehow they sold for $300+ million.
Same thing happened to Sean John and Nietzsche, Slim Shady. I mean, even Nelly had a line because of brand.
So brand is the key here. So don't get caught slipping, invest in your brand awareness. Let us know what brands do you think
are doing it right.
Exactly. All right guys, that about does it for this week's episode of Chop It Up, your weekly dose of news, business, sports, and culture. Okay? And if you like the show, please give us a like, a comment. If we brought you an ounce of value, subscribe, and dare I say, share. But before we wrap, we did want to let you know that we heard y'all. So this week we have Anthony Murdoch II. He comments, quote, "I watch every video and come away with a page of notes each time. Thanks for the knowledge, and I think the newsletter could definitely be a move. I'm actually looking to integrate that marketing piece into my brand and business because it seems so beneficial." Anthony Murdoch II, we appreciate you watching. Thanks for the shout out. And if you do drop the newsletter, feel free to sign me up. My email is jh@cofoundharlem.com. If I don't get your newsletter, I'm gonna be pissed off. That's actually my email, folks.
All right, guys, thank you for sending all of the comments. We really appreciate you. And we love all comments the same. Even this really funny one from Instagram from David Zaballin. It's John looks like Logic if he was black and could grow good facial hair.
That's pretty funny.
Let me just measure this up. Can we get a side-by-side here, guys? Julian,
All right, here it goes.
side-by-side, please.
All right, guys, you be the judge. Do I look like Logic, yes or no? Comment and tag him so that we can get him on the show.
All right.
All right. Till next time.
Peace.
Do I look like Logic?
You are.
Do I get bread like
You
Logic?
Logic does about 500.